today's discussion topic is: are dollar stores bad for the world?
Okay, Dollar General, or the Dollar Tree. Because
Anything Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Dollar
they're
Value.
two different stores.
Well, this the dollar, just the
Like the $1.
Yeah,
$1
that
stores
genre.
or 99-cent stores.
Let's do general. Let's do Dollar General because that is easier to
They're
talk
in every
about.
small town in
Yeah.
southern Illinois. I don't know where they are elsewhere, but anywhere here, there's a Casey's and a Dollar General.
Yeah.
That's Dollar General's expansion plan. Is on the outskirts of small towns.
I think it can go two ways because it's probably good for small towns that don't have anything. So they can go get like a box of full or whatever they need. You know what I mean? Unless there's already a grocery store in town, then it would probably make it worse for them. Somebody would have to close.
Nope.
But they shouldn't be
They don't.
everywhere.
They're not competing, actually. So Caleb and I actually live in the same little small town. It's about, 3,000, 3,200 people.
Yeah.
We have a small IGA, and we have a Dollar General. They're not competing.
They're not.
No?
No.
No.
They do not
Interesting.
compete.
Oh, there's
Not at all.
Not at all.
I have read that a lot of people are against them because they tend to target smaller, poorer communities
Oh.
because they
The dollar stores.
because
definitely
they
do.
employ less people.
They do.
They can do and people can go get the same amount of stuff, but not as much workers, not as much labor involved. So it's not employing as much people.
They do have a smaller staff, a general store, but they're smaller.
Yeah, well,
It's
Mhm.
like compared to what?
And then they
Like
also a lot of stuff also they have bad track records of recycling too. A lot of stuff there's a lot of stuff that you buy from there that just end up in the trash, toys, batteries, all kinds of stuff that are just also bad for the environment. There's a whole thing about them that people just don't like.
I think Dollar General and Dollar Tree are completely two different things.
completely.
Because the Dollar General is more or less like, at least ours is like just a smaller.
It's just a
Like a
Target.
mini store.
Yeah,
It's just a mini store. It has
Yeah.
name brand products. They do have their own storefront products, store brands, but they do have name brand products, and it's not any cheaper than if you were to go. It's just being convenient that it's 5 minutes down the road for me instead of 20.
Yeah.
You can also park close outside and
Yes.
not walk 85 miles
Yes.
to get in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I don't visit a Dollar Tree, but I think that may be more of like what you just said of the junk, the stuff that ends up
For the
in
dollar
the
store.
the Dollar General.
Yeah.
And they target
Yeah.
low income
What's not,
areas.
Yeah.
my question was about the dollar store.
Okay, so
Dollar
that's
store. That's what we're talking about.
So $1 per item.
Yeah, like stuff where so cheap that
Yeah.
people just go get all the time, but it's so cheap that they don't care about it, so it ends up in the trash, or it ends up as clutter, or it just ends up in places that because it's not things that people really care about a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just we're not talking about food. We're just talking about you just go in there, you just get plastic anything or just toys anything, the stuff that just mounts up and then ends up in the trash instead of getting recycled. A lot of people say that they're just really bad for the environment.
I hear a lot of our teachers shop at Dollar Tree.
Yeah, I don't see when I go to small towns, I don't see a Dollar Tree.
No.
I see a Dollar General.
If they're just
Yeah,
using
Dollar
You
General.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's too.
I said dollar store. So,
Yeah.
however,
Then, yeah, we gotta go for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
$1.
understand that point then about the whole disposable everything just ending up in a landfill.
I think that if you're gonna look at Dollar Trees, you should look at everything else bigger than the Dollar Trees before you aim just at Dollar Trees.
Right,
so
how
you're
much-
saying, so
there's got to be a lot more things than just the dollar store is worse for the environment.
I think
100%.
the excessive amount of plastic is not any store in particular store's fault.
Yeah.
That people go through a lot of plastic and then throw it away instead of recycling it.
Well, that's
That's our
a
fault.
whole other topic
Yeah.
we can talk
Yeah.
about.
Supply and
That's
demand.
an industry. That's a plastic recycling industry that is
Mhm.
awful in this country.
Yeah, so I don't know how you can just blame a certain, in particular, business for that. Now, I do see the argument to where they usually are in small towns, or usually in poor communities too, most of the time, where they just
Is it
get
freezes
that, they're
people?
just happy with that, and they don't get a bigger grocery store that could employ more people and be better for that. Because there's some cities around here that don't have that, but that could probably benefit from it.
That's true, but like as a business, you probably don't want to go somewhere where you're going to lose money, and that's a sad reality. But you're so right. Like access to fresh food, places like East St. Louis don't have a ton of grocery stores just overflowing out of everything. That's true.
Where do they have the
But what do
produce?
you want it to be charity? Like, we'll
No.
just not make money and offer fresh food, which is cool too. But if you want a business to do it, it has to make sense on paper.
And what you just mentioned, that's Dollar General. You know what I mean? That's not the dollar store. Like, for example, like Fairview Heights has two Dollar Trees.
Mm-hmm.
And Fairview Heights is not a poor community.
Hearts.
Where
Parts.
though?
There's parts.
Where?
I mean,
There's poor parts in almost every
Well,
community.
sure,
you can't
but
just,
like, what about, okay, let's think about the poorest part of Fairview. What do you guys think that is?
No idea.
Lincoln Trail.
Lincoln Trail.
Yeah,
But where are all the
100%.
houses? Are you talking about
Lincoln
like,
Closer
Trail.
towards the East St. Louis.
Towards the
wouldn't it be?
Metrolink.
No.
Yes.
That's,
You're telling me that Fairview Heights next to East St. Louis isn't the same? Is the same quality of Fairview Heights towards O'Fallon?
almost nobody lives there. Nobody lives right there.
Yeah, I would argue that the majority of Fairview
I don't know where
is,
Fairview.
or it just doesn't look like that on the outside looking in because of all of the retail businesses. But if you actually look at all the neighborhoods surrounding it, it's not, I mean, we're not talking like Section 8, like,
No, it's
But
like
it's-
it's like lower middle class to
Oh,
middle
oh.
class.
Mhm.
Like it's
It's not
not
Fairview Heights.
poor.
I don't
And
know
then
where
once
the-
you get like to
I don't
East
know.
St.
I don't know where the
Louis,
line is.
you can see like French Village over there, like by
French
Caseyville.
Village.
But it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no housing
yeah.
That's true.
between unless you go
Dutch
coming from
Hollow?
Fairview toward to East St. Louis. That's Belleville. But there's like some streets where there's houses, but they're all nice.
Mhm.
Like there's a lake on this side.
Mhm.
That you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not.
I don't know where the city lines are, but
There's no houses right by.
what about behind like the Chuck Wagon and that Lincoln Trail?
Oh, by like
That's
Branch
also
and
back
stuff.
there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
Right.
middle class, lower middle class. It's a little-
I mean, that's all debatable. It's all subjective, too. So-
you can go by property value.
They're single valley. They're single.
Well, even that is
dwellings.
what someone might consider a $60,000 home. They might say that's pretty cheap. Some people might say that's a lot. It's all subjective.
Oh, for
Well,
sure.
it's
But-
your area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. But anyways, regardless though, but there's a lot more to it too than that too. Like like the dollar store or whatever. What kind of healthy food options do they have compared to a regular grocery
It
store?
is,
They're
like-
Are they able to?
Sometimes.
I was like, I know if I go to the Dollar General,
They
I'm
have-
buying candy and I'm buying cookies and I'm buying
Dollar
cheap
General's,
sugary items that we know.
but
are
Dollar
bad.
General does
Right,
offer
right.
fresh produce.
They do.
So there's,
but
but I don't know about the Dollar Tree doesn't do that.
I doubt they do.
I don't
I've
think
never
so.
seen it. No.
Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
the difference in those stores.
It just seems like the differential of what is a dollar store because it seems like we're getting it all mixed up to what really is it because some people like Dollar General, yeah, it's called Dollar General, but not everything in
I don't
there
think
costs $1.
I don't
yeah.
think it's a
Right,
dollar. I think they're
You
totally
know, or
cheap.
we're talking, and there's so many of them too with different names. It's hard to narrow them down.
Generally $1.
Yeah, but I'm just
Dollar
thinking,
General.
I'm just thinking like,
There's Josh's reaction.
but it's just so much. It's just how do you narrow it down to just one? But anyways, though, I think what they're saying is it's bad for for communities because they're typically in poor communities where they fail to go to a regular grocery store to get better, healthier options, and they're also bad with the recycling and everything, and they employ less people, so therefore a lot of people view them as a problem. I'm not saying I view them that way, but that's how a lot of people do. So I'm just wondering if you guys agreed on that, or what's your thoughts on it?
I think they serve a purpose.
I don't have any
I
problem
think they
with them.
serve the purpose
I think they do. Yeah.
because in
Yeah.
those poor communities, they need an inexpensive route. They need it, whether, and I know that it's not necessarily the best, but if that's all you can afford, that's all you can afford, and it may be like a different standard of what they need.
And what if you can't drive?
Right.
You know,
You could
and then
walk.
There's your,
So there is
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
The plastic industry part of it is a whole other mess.
I
Mhm.
agree.
Yeah, it's hard to blame a problem just on one thing when it actually takes a whole
And you're telling
world
me the
effort.
big, yeah, and you're telling me like the bigger stores don't have a
It's-
recycling
it's
problem.
gotta be one.
Yeah,
Yeah, they-
yeah. I mean, anywhere you
So-
anywhere you can get plastic from, they're all leading to that to that cause for sure.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean they serve it, so we're all for them though. Don't have
Yeah.
not against them in any way.
No
I-
issue with them.
I have no issue with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's terrible, but Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's so many.
Okay, all right. Well, that's our answer about that topic.